This is one of my portraits. So with my portraits, I like to pretend that someone's paid to have themselves or a loved one drawn by an artist, and then they've gotten confused when I've started cutting up dead animals in front of them and trying to recreate their face, and then I make a bit of a story about it. Now, I can't remember the story off by heart because this is actually one that I made a couple of years ago, but I'm going to read it to you, so I'll strap in. Diane swung by for a portrait. She wanted me to make it more like a caricature, which is always fun. She said she'd like to look quite intimidating, as she'd been recently told by an ex that she was a gaslighter and had sociopathic tendencies. She explained to me that I shouldn't look at it like that though, and should understand that her ex was actually a liar. I told her she can feel free to vent, but that I don't really care about what she's talking about. She told me I'm just like the plasterer she had round her house last week, and started ranting about a run-in she'd had with some other self-employed people. She claimed that it's part of our job to keep the customer happy, as she's our boss. She then said if I still want to receive my payment, I should call her Boss Lady. Again, I allowed the weird behaviour, as it seemed like she was working through some stuff in her head. Well, there's this silence that could only have been about 45 seconds, not even a minute. It was like an oasis, the eye of the storm. Then she started stamping on the ground, taking photos of me, shouting at me. Then she started taking photographs to make it look as if my hands were trying to reach out and touch her. She must have been able to see her own elbows in each of the shots, but I'm not sure, as she wouldn't show me the photographs afterwards. Either way, I don't have small birds tattooed on my hands like she does, so they're not my hands in those photographs. After this, I instructed her to leave. In fact, I got quite stern with her. She said no one had ever spoken to her like that before, and slipped her "Get Your Rat Out" branded knickers down to her ankles. She kicked them off her feet to the edge of the room and left. She later sent me a message on Instagram telling me to tell her when to come to collect the knickers. I didn't respond. Diane never paid for her portrait, so I'm offering it out to you. So they've each got a little story on a minute. Now, if you enjoyed listening to me read, join me Patreon, where I've started reading books to you on there, amongst all the other stuff that's on there.